Hi everyone, Don Giannatti here, lighting-essentials.com and project52prosystem.com. I'm really having fun featuring the work of my Project 52 people and the classes I have on lighting-essentials.com. I do 8-week classes in still life, food, etc. And I'm just having a blast going back through these images and sharing them with you because I think they're great images, they're exceptional, and I think that you'd be very, very interested in how the lighting was done. So we're going to start off with this shot by Ann Stevenson. Basically, the idea of the assignment was to find junk, just stuff. And Ann found all these nails and pieces of things, put them out on the black fabric. We've got this cool little line up here. I love the highlights on it. Notice every nail is beautifully highlighted. So nothing, even the little black washers here have nice highlights on them. It's nicely done. The way she did it was to put a middle part of a 5-in-1 diffusion, or the 5-in-1 reflector series, the diffusion part, just kind of hang it on a stand, put a 400 watt second back there, and fire the strobe right down onto, you can see this is where her nails were. So personally, I believe these 5-in-1 reflectors, the ones that have the diffusers in the side, the one has the gold, silver, black, and white, I think they are the best lighting bang for the buck, with the exception of the Target shower curtain, which is about $11 and makes a hell of a great scrim. Not the ones with little duckies in them, though. If they got little duckies in them, don't buy those. You got to get just the plain white shower curtain, the cloth one, not the plastic. The plastic has blue phosphors and will make your light blue. A and B, they really smell after a while. So get the cloth one. But these 5-in-1, guys, you can get them as cheap on eBay and Amazon as $30 or $40. And they are absolutely essential to great lighting. So simply a strobe behind the 5-in-1 diffusion panel. It works out very, very well. Steve Blackwell did a beautifully lit still life of stuff he found in and around the yard. And I really, really think it's a lovely shot. It's designed well. Leading lines are all over the place in here. We really see this guy coming up. And notice how the light pulls the color from the black so nicely. Really, really nicely done. Here's Steve's shot. He's got a 5-in-1 reflector back here with a light behind it. And then he sculpted how the black would be in the back and let the light come through by this black card. So it's a very simple shot. Strobe coming through the panel, and then the black laid here for the background, and then dipped down right here so that that light would come in across the wood here. A white card on this side opens up this part of the wood. Let's go back and look at the shot. Isn't that lovely? Beautiful still life shot with really very little lighting gear. A piece of old leather shot by David Travis. Old piece of material, leather. There's some, I think there's part of a can in here as well. Again, this was part of the junk assignment. Find a piece of junk, and this is a good assignment for y'all too. Find a piece of junk, photograph it, or trash or something, photograph it to make it pretty. Now this is, I just think, exceptional. All this texture, the rust, the leather, all of these little things. It's just beautiful. How did David light it? Well, he just put a light on it. Bada boom, right there. I believe it's a Pro Photo. It's just an open head Pro Photo. You can see some of the other garbage and stuff that he collected, but we ended up seeing just that little part of it. And just an open head brought in pretty close. There's no fill. The shadows go absolute. Very easy shot to do, and I think very well done by David Travis. Greg Pastusin did this really lovely shot of the lemons. Look at the light. Isn't that beautiful? You just feel this light coming in here. You just absolutely, it warms you Sorry about my crazy mouse there. It just warms you looking at it. It's so pretty. I like how the lemon cuts into the shadow up here. Notice the shadow comes down, but the lemon is lit going into it. Same here. We have the lit lemon against a little bit of a shadowy background. The light crawls all the way across the lemons and grabs the top of the lemon shavings right here. Difficult to light? No, actually fairly simple. Greg used a handmade scrim that he developed and built. Plans for this scrim, by the way, are up online at Lighting Essentials. And I believe you can find it on YouTube. You can find various people who have ways to create scrims. This is one of my designs because I like the handles on the side to mount them. One of those really inexpensive. These things are like $30 or $40. Continuous light kits, taking off the diffusion, using this as the diffuser up here, the scrim as the diffuser, and lighting through the back. Let's go back to the shot. Isn't that lovely? A couple of little fill cards here and there just to open it up, and you can actually see the fill card just a little bit right there, and right on the edge there, that lemon, just a little bit of it. What's cool is that this lemon is actually lighting up that lemon. Do you see that right there? Isn't that nice? Lovely, lovely shot. Really, really well done. Ivan Singer shot a pipe on a very cool plate and then cropped in very tight on it so that the plate becomes the frame essentially. You got a little bit of the background and the plate. But notice how the highlights are very different and interesting. We got a nice big soft highlight over here. Do you see this? That's the one that's on the front of this pipe. It's the one that's running down the edge of these two tools right here. It's the one that's giving us some edge lighting here. But we also have a hard light. Notice the edges here, the edge of the pipe there. Notice we've got this part of the pipe lit up. It's very, very cool. This is a little bit more of a complex lighting assignment. So what Ivan did was use two shoot-through umbrellas to either side. Let's go back to the shot. Shoot-through umbrella 1, creating that highlight, and probably part of that highlight since it's skimming over. Shoot-through umbrella 2, the one in the foreground, giving us this one. He has a ring light firing above, just kind of skimming the pipe and things and hitting this white card to bring fill back from the back. Let's go back, and now we can see just a little bit of a fill line right there. We can see a little bit of a light right there. We can definitely see it here, adding to the complexity of this shot. And that's probably what's given us this highlight right here. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection. The big strip light is an overall ambient fill, allowing the plate to be lit with a softer light and controlling that ambient so that the highlights can sparkle. That's the job of this one. Not very many, not basically a fairly fun way to light up that pipe shot. Really well done by Ivan Singer. Karen Green, I don't really know what that is, but it's a piece of something, piece of trash that she found that was partially burned. And another couple of items here that were kind of burned and destroyed. And so what Karen did was she decided she would light this in a way that really brought out the texture and the color of this piece of trash by floating a light right down in here and then putting a scrim above with a strobe in it. So this hot, bright light in here is lighting up the back of this, and the strobe up here is giving us this reflection in the dark surface right here. It's giving us all of this reflection in the dark surface. It's also lighting this up. See how the light's more powerful here and it fades off? That's because Karen has her light so close to the scrim that the light hits the scrim, gives a real bright spot here, and then slightly fades off. However, that's for the reflection. Remember that this old piece of junk is not as glossy as the background, so it picks up light because it's a matte surface. It's an inefficient surface. It's a diffuse surface, so it picks up light indirectly from or directly from that scrim, but indirectly not showing us the hot spot. There's no place on here to show us the hot spot. Maybe right there we could argue there's a specular right there, but it's very, very simple to do, and Karen did a beautiful job with it. Karen Green. Liz Carmel did this painterly old world still life using a pure black background, using a pure sort of old-time artist's light here, very reminiscent of painters. I love the reflection of the flower in the pot here, but notice all the beautiful soft highlights all the way through. We get it here, all the leaves, everything. And the way Liz was able to do that was she double diffused her strip light. She has a diffuser up front, then a space, and a second diffuser, and then the strip light, which also basically has a diffuser on it, so triple diffusion. But putting that little spacer in between these diffusers softens the light just a little bit more from the diffusion standpoint. Having it be very large compared to the subject, one of the rules of making soft light is the light has to be much bigger than the subject. The bigger the light source in relation to the subject, the softer the light. The more diffusion, the softer the edges of the light. We have diffused, indiffused, and diffused again. The light becomes very, very soft. Catherine Vibert found some old peppers that I'm just gonna say I think they're out of pull date. That's just me. I think they're out of pull date. These guys are all dried up. Great textures. She really wanted to do something cool with the lighting, so she to bring out those textures. So she basically brought in a nice big Apollo over here. That's the fill. Then she took a speed light and bounced it down into the corner of this V card, right into the corner here, so that that would give her a sparkly light back here and give us that shadowy light from over here. Because the speed light is so close to the foam core, it doesn't make a great big giant fill. It adds a poppy little light to it. So that speed light probably only lit up about that much of the foam core. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection, and we end up with this little hot spot coming this way. Pretty cool. That's Catherine Vibert. Anyway, it's a wonderful exercise. Go out and now everything was junk except Greg Pastuzin's, Ivan's, and of course Liz's. So I'm going to run back through the images again. We got Catherine Vibert, Liz Carmel, Karen Green, Ivan Singer, Greg Pastuzin, David Travis, Steve Blackwell, and Ann Stevenson. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at these still lifes, and I hope that you maybe get an idea that you can do this too. A diffuser, a couple pieces of fill card, and your strobe, your little speed light, and you're off to the races. Don't let not having killer gear stop your dream. Get out there and make it happen. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, if you like this stuff, subscribe.